Ladies and gentlemen, and then distinguished speakers, in this first panel, we will talk about the role of accounting profession in creating values to support the global goals for sustainable development. Let me put some background on this topic. In 2015, the 193 members of the United Nations General Assembly formally adopted the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. This included 17 goals for sustainable development, developed over 2 years by an open working group with representatives from over 70 countries. The consultation on the goals was the largest to date in the United Nations history and reached over 8 million individuals. The 17 goals represent the means to sustain people, planet, and prosperity to 2030 and include a clear call for partnership between the public, private, and voluntary sector to address these challenges. So what will be these aligned with our accounting profession? A new report from the International Federation of Accountants provides a snapshot of the accountancy profession's contribution to achieve these goals. Accountancy is the basis of strong and sustainable organization, financial markets, and economies. It is important for our profession to be part of achieving these goals. Now we have 3 distinguished speakers. Unfortunately, from 1 hour, 15 minutes now, our space is only 30 minutes, speakers. So I have to be apology. Your time will be, each of you, only 10 minutes, okay? So we will start with Pat. Pat, you are the chairperson of ICAEW. So the question is how ICAEW will take a significant role to participate and contribute to achieving this goal. Your time, Pat.
Thank you, Rosita. Presidents, distinguished guests, distinguished speakers, ladies and gentlemen, it is a great honor for me as Chairman of Chartered Accountants Worldwide to be here and speak at your conference. The first thing I want to do is congratulate IAI on its 60th anniversary, to its great contribution to the economy in Indonesia, and it's terrific to hear the economy growing at 5%. And it's also quite obvious the high respect that your institute is held in. I will say a few comments about Chartered Accountants Worldwide and then go on and talk about our role in implementing the UN SDGs, and particularly in relation to our values. Well, Chartered Accountants Worldwide is an alliance of 12 institutes in Indonesia, and congratulations, Indonesia is a member, your institute, Singapore, India, Pakistan, England and Wales, Ireland, Scotland, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, Zambia, Australia, New Zealand, and South Africa. So it's quite a gathering of institutes around the world with 700,000 members and 1 million students. So our 3 key objectives are promoting the Chartered Accountant brand, the brand which you cherish, and of course we do respect all other institutes and all other qualifications. I want to be quite clear about that. Our second objective is to support our members, and then thirdly, to help each institute become stronger in our respective markets. And one of the ways we do that is share our business plans and strategies, including what we're doing on SDGs. So we are about keeping the Chartered family together and showing that our respective, your qualification, are all global qualifications. So going on to the UN SDGs. Well, yes, they are on the ICAEW agenda and on the agenda of each individual institute. The UN website actually is really, really useful, and the email alerts. I would recommend anybody interested in SDGs to go on to the UN website. So at Chartered Accountants Worldwide, we do consider SDGs to be incredibly important for our generation and for future generations. And we do believe that accountants can play an important and essential role. And we believe that we should play that role. We held a workshop in London recently with representatives from all the institutes living and working in London. And it was quite clear that everybody in the room felt very strongly that accountants have a significant role to play in implementing the UN SDGs. And of course, each institute is becoming more active in promoting and raising awareness. But of course, we do need to do a lot more as institutes, as firms, as individual members in raising awareness and in achieving progress. Prince Charles, and we heard from him earlier on, said, accountants can change the world, and we must ensure that we will. So how can we, as individual members, firms, and institutes, help? We need to get SDG message to business, to government, and we need to achieve change. We need to move from short-term planning to long-term sustainable planning. So how will we do that? Well, for a start, we have our values. Values that have served us well in well over 100 years, and this will help us greatly in influencing and implementing SDGs. We are trusted members in business, trusted business advisors, trusted advocates and influencers. We have a track record in a commitment to ethics, and we have a track record of acting in the public interest. We are globally respected, we are innovators, we are change makers. We have all that. Sometimes I think we might be a bit silent on our achievements and our values. So what we need to do going forward is to articulate these values. And this will help us greatly in implementing the SDGs. We need to explain what they are and try to get others to adopt our values. And this will help significantly in implementing the SDGs. The public interest, we talk a lot about the public interest. And really, and that is true, I think we also need to start talking about responsible and great citizenship. We are citizens of the world. We need to act in the best interests of this generation and future generations at home and abroad. At another CAEW workshop in London, we had a business workshop on the topic of what are the greatest challenges facing business leaders of the future. And it was very interesting that the number one challenge for business leaders of the future is to ensure that everybody in the organization, from the boardroom down, has the moral courage to do and say the right thing. So this value, moral courage to do and say the right thing, will be particularly important. Speaking up, not staying silent as business leaders, advisors, and advocates. Speaking the truth, seeking the truth, and using our wisdom and self-belief to inspire confidence. These are all wonderful values which will help us greatly. SDGs, of course, will bring disruption and therefore business opportunity. But disruption and business opportunity come together, and they are necessary for long-term sustainability. And after all, we are innovators. We are also experts in governance, which will help greatly in terms of accountability and getting things done. And we do want to achieve prosperity for all. Remember, millennials, and they were referenced already, want to change the world. And that was quite obvious at the One Young World Conference in Bogota. Actually, CAEW hosted an event at that session, and we had one 3 years ago on ethics, last year on governance, and this year it was on the UN SDGs. And the enthusiasm and the belief and the commitment of our young members, millennials, was very evident. But some goals can't wait for millennials until they are in key leadership positions. So we need to get acting now. We must remember that SDGs are the right goals. They are needed for sustainable planet and for sustainable living for this generation and future generations, and for sustainable businesses. But there are good self-reasons why we should do it. Businesses need to attract the brightest and the best. And millennials, who were the brightest and the best growing up, want to do good things in organizations, so committing to SDGs will help greatly. Businesses want to bond with their employees and win the minds and hearts of customers. So committing to SDGs is a wonderful way to do this. Governments need to connect and gain credibility of voters. Again, this is a wonderful framework for doing it. And we, as a profession, need to attract the brightest and best into it. So this, again, will be a terrific platform for getting our message across that accountants have such a significant role to play in society and business. So I'll conclude by saying, yes, we should commit to SDGs, and remember, CSR, this is real CSR. A lot of talk about corporate social responsibility over a number of years, doing small things, but this is big. So committing to SDGs is real CSR. Put the SDGs at the heart of our thinking and long-term planning for the sake of this generation and generations to come. And it's interesting that only a few days ago it was reported that global growth has been 3% in the last year. So now the time is right. Funding is more available than it was in the financial crisis. So the time is now right for the profession to play its part in promoting SDGs, our part as trusted business leaders, as trusted business advisors, and trusted advocates and influencers. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Pat. Yeah, ICAEW is a global accounting profession, which includes significant, I think, major of the accounting profession in the world. So we believe it take advantage for ICAEW to reach the global and to make influence to achieve this goal. Now we will hear from the point of view from Pak Sidharta Utama. He is the member of the International Accounting Education Standard Board, and one of the goals from 17 goals is quality in education. So we will hear from him how the International Accounting Education Standard Board will play the role to achieve this goal. Your time, Pak.
Good morning, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam sejahtera bagi kita semua. I'm very pleased to be here in front of you to provide my thoughts about the implication of the sustainable development on the professional competence. And since only 10 minutes, okay, so I will shorten my presentation. Earlier, Mr. Costello has explained about the role of professional accountants in promoting sustainable development. And I just want to share my thoughts about what is the implication on this on professional competence of professional accounting. And could you please, doesn't work this one? Okay. So accountants will save the world. This is a very important sentence, and this, it was mentioned by the Chief Executive of World Business Council for Sustainable Development. So what he was saying is that currently there is a concern that the current financial statements, it's only focused on financial capital. While if we want to have a sustainable development, we also have to assure that not only financial capital, but also social and also natural capitals that have to be maintained and also developed. And the current financial statements do not address that. So that's why he says, if accountants is somehow can develop a report that not only disclose the performance of companies in terms of financial capital, but also in terms of their social capital and natural capital, that will save the world. So that is how he sees the very important role of professional accountants. And the next slides also, this one I took it from IFAC. When we discuss about the role of professional accountants in promoting sustainable development, usually we discuss only the role at the bottom, reporters of value, how we, like the one I just mentioned earlier, how we make sure that the impact of the companies in terms of their impact on natural and also social capitals are reflected in the financial or any other reporting. But actually, according to IFAC, as we can see here, the role of a professional accountant is not only at the bottom, but also start from the beginning. I mean, if we look at the value chain of the company, starting when they make a plan, setting strategy, and so on. In this stage, the role of professional accountants, because we know that many professional accountants sit in a very high-level management, so they can have an influence, for example, like setting strategies and so on that are considering, the impact of the their operations on sustainable development. And also there are other roles, the providers of value and also keepers of value. So from these two slides, we see that we as a professional accountant, if we want to take part, in promoting sustainable development, we have to make sure that we do have the professional competence to do that. So now I'm going to share, my opinion regarding this, and I just want to also say that this is my personal opinion, and it may not and also does not reflect the view of the IAESB board as a whole. So according to the international education standards, professional competence consists of three parts. The first one is technical competence, the next one is professional skills, and the third one is professional values, ethics, and attitudes. And they are, as a professional competence, you have to have all of them. Cannot just one or two of them, you have to have all of them. And now I will share my thoughts about what are professional competence that professional accountants have to have if we want to create value for sustainable development. So I will start the first one with the technical competence. So this IS2, International Education Standards number 2, provides learning outcomes, provide learning outcomes for all these subjects. The two box on the top and also the box in the red color. So my view is that if we want professional accountants to have an important role in promoting sustainable development, we need to evaluate and also reassess, the learning outcomes, and also the accounting curriculum for professional accountants. Like, for example, one major issue with regard to the financial report is that financial report does not include the impact of the company's operations on outside the companies, the externalities like causing pollution, causing harm to the society, which can also be positive. So in this case, then we may need to review, the curriculum for all the financial accountings, making sure that students, even in the beginning of their study as aspiring accountants, they already are aware about some of these issues. And also, for example, for economics, I think for economics, it's also very important that accounting students learn about the economics of natural resources. So I think we need to reevaluate, the technical competence of the professional accountants. And then the next one, this one is professional skills. So professional skills have 4 dimensions: intellectual, interpersonal and communication, personal, and leadership skills. For intellectual, as I mentioned, explained earlier, the role of accountants, they have a very strategic role. They have a role to create value, which is in line with the sustainable development. And to be able to do that, of course, professional accountants have to have an ability to apply reasoning, critical analysis, and innovative thinking to solve problems. Meaning that when we offer solutions with regard, for example, to this sustainable development, we have to be able to think out of the box, okay, to offer solutions that are really breakthrough. That's one example. The other one is display cooperation and teamwork. Why is this important? Because in the sustainable development involve multidisciplinary knowledge. Okay, so we have to cooperate with other fields, like for example, experts in environment, experts in humanities, and so on. So that's why it's very important that we display a cooperation and teamwork. And the next one, this is I think very important. Demonstrate a commitment to lifelong learning. Like currently, the sustainability report, I think it's in the GRI version 4. Maybe it's already updated. And also the integrated reporting is also still evolving. So if we teach this to the students, most likely after they graduate, the standards will be already changed. So that's why we need to make sure that as accountants, even though we are already finished with all of our schools, we are able to learn by ourselves. And we are eager to learn. Because definitely the issues regarding sustainable development it's very dynamic and will change. So we cannot just rely, on the curriculum, at the university. We have to be able to learn by ourselves. And then the next one is the leadership skill. As I mentioned earlier, we want professional accountants to be leading in this area. And to do that, of course, we have to be able to have a leadership skills. The next one is IS4, professional values, ethics, and attitudes. The one at the bottom, commitment to public interest, I think this is very important. So we need to make sure that when we do our tasks, as professional accountants, we have to keep in mind that at the end, the parties that will receive the benefits of our task as professional accountants is the public. Okay, so we work for the best interest of the public. If we have this in our mindset, then definitely sustainable development, the objective of having a sustainable development will be much easier because it's a change in the mindset, not only working for example, to our clients or for our interest, self-interest, but we work for the public interest. So this is, I think, it's very important. And then the other two, for example, like the ethical principles, analyze alternative course of actions and determine the consequences of this. If we are concerned about the issues of environment or social issues, social responsibilities, so when we make decisions, if we follow these ethical principles, when we look at the consequence, we analyze the consequence not only financially, but we also will have to see what is the impact, for example, to the environment, to the society, and so on. Okay, and then the next one is apply questioning mindset to assess financial information and other data critically, meaning that when we accountants an information provider. So what is important here that when we provide informations to external parties or as a management accountant, when we provide informations to the top management and so on, we also have to assess, whether the information that we provided is really relevant, and not only that, but also embed the issue of sustainable development, like environmental issue and also social issues. So I think in general, the IAS 2, 3, and 4 already provide a framework that actually can be built on to improve the competence of professional accountants in this area, making professional accountants to be more competent in terms of promoting sustainable developments. And I think that concludes my presentations. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you, Professor Sidharta. We have only like 12 minutes, Pak Denny. Pak Denny is the head of Indonesia, the Institute of Chartered Accountants in England and Wales. Maybe you can give 5 minutes, very short and brief view on what do you think the role of accountant to achieve this goal to be part of the profession association in the world. 5 minutes ya Pak.
Yes. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, and guests and speakers, thank you for the opportunity of inviting me to speak at this event and share about ICAEW approach for sustainable development goals. And getting there is not an easy task because those goals is very ambitious, some people say, and we need more effort to immerse those goals into our daily life. Why? Because we as accountants, we have the obligation to serve for the public interest. And in ICAEW, as our vision says, we are the world of strong economies. It's at the very heart of our daily life in ICAEW, and try to immerse this to our students, our members, and so on. So that's why, referring to Professor Sidharta's previous speech, I'd like to show you, people said that seeing is believing, but now I said playing is believing. So with help of the control room, can we jump to another slide, please? I would like to show you within the few minutes about the approach we take in ICAEW. So there are so many goals, and how can we understand? So the easiest way is through games, right? So in our website, we have these games, and in these games, we start to familiarize about the symbols. So please just click all the games, don't wait for me. Okay, this part is how we understand the symbols. And if you know the number, it's counting backwards, because as soon as you answer with the correct question, then you got more points, right? So it's give you a touch of the sustainable development goals. Just click faster. I have only 3 minutes left. Okay, okay, just click. Okay, wrong answer, no points. Okay. No, I think okay, then quick, just finish it. Come on. Okay. How many? 1, 3. Oh, you're correct now. And then, okay, gender equality. 200 points, and then clean water, correct, and then go on. Clean water can, how many percent? No, it's 9%. Okay, no points for you guys there. And then, go on. The internet. The internet, not the newspaper. We are millennials. And then reduce inequality. Yeah, correct. You have 320 points. Go on. Faster. So, ladies and gentlemen, as the organizing committee go on, I should encourage you to play. Yeah, for you to understand the goals and especially the symbols, because so many colors. And quality education, yes, please. Just press quicker. Okay, correct. And then go on, please. Yeah, it's very fun. I share you one statistic. We launched this in 2017 October. Okay, the whole world. And now, okay, total score average, we have 8,324. The average is 11,900. And then press take action. Take action. Okay, select one of the just click at the picture and then select one of the, okay, click. Quality education. Yeah, and okay, take the pledge. So after play the game, then you have to take the pledge. Just scroll down, please. Scroll down. Okay. 1 out of 3. Which would you like to pledge to actively participate in to reach the goal of Sustainable Development Goals? And this is very good. In Indonesia, the statistics said Indonesia contributes of 50% of the clicks of these games. So it counted 250,000 clicks for Indonesia. So you know that our children, our students, our youngsters are very keen to do this project. So give round of applause to Indonesian accountants and aspiring. And I hope you can play this game, immerse. And the link is ICAEW.com/the global goals. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you. Very on time, Pak Denny. Thank you very much. So, because of the time limitation, I would like to apologize for all of you. We cannot take one question. But I have one question to all speakers. So, before I ask a question, I want to have a short survey. How many of you is under 30 years old? Can you raise up your hand? Okay. I think less than 10%. Here, we are talking about the role of accounting profession to achieve 17 goals to be sustainable. Is actually more than 30 years old. The fact is, the younger generation is definitely has significant mindset from us is one of the challenges. So how we spread this conversation to our younger generation with the technology disruption, which I believe they are more catch up than us. They are more understand what's happening in the technology than us. So with that situation, distinguished speaker, help me to answer, what do you think, one thing each of you that need to be done as soon as possible for this situation? Pat?
Okay, I think the millennials are an amazing opportunity for us now to help us drive this forward. To say what measures gets done, I don't think the measuring is going to be the real challenge. I think we will get that done, and we need to be careful not to promote ourselves to be acting in self-interest. I think the real thing we need to do now as business leaders, because a lot of our members are leaders in business, either as chief executives or on the senior management team, and also business advisors, and then as influencers to government. That's our key challenge. Okay. That we use all our values that we hold dearly, and try and instill them values in our businesses and in our engagement with government, that the SDGs will be taken seriously and put at the heart of our thinking.
Thank you, Pat. Prof. Sidharta, what do you think?
Thank you. I think the very important thing is that we have to make sure that the curriculum at for example, for the accounting bachelor programs, has to embed the issues of sustainable development. So it's not just, currently the tendency is just to have like a course, for example, sustainability reporting course, at the end, and it's an elective. But I think we need to be better than that. So the issues of sustainable development have to be embedded in all accounting courses, for example, like starting from the introduction of accounting and so on. So by the time they graduate, they should be aware about this issue, and they should be concerned. And with respect to the methodology, I think, as you mentioned earlier, we need to also exploit the advancement of the IT, like, for example, having YouTube or whatever, Twitter and so on, to communicate all these issues. I think that's my suggestion. Thank you.
Thank you. Pak Denny, your thought?
Thank you. The millennials or the youngsters have very different value with us. So during my age, for me, what's your aspiration? Why do you want to become an accountant? because accounting is very lucrative, a lot of money, I can buy Mercedes and so on. But now it's not there. So I just confirmed with Pak Dwistiawan, one of the member IAI National Council that time, we kind of data that now more and more young accountants, they want to be in the social business on a public sector. Why? Because they want to serve the community. So it's very, I think it's clear, and I also agree with all the other panelists that we have to start doing something about this. But Ibu Rosita, my message, the last one is, playing is believing. So please play our SDG Global mini games.
Okay. Thank you, distinguished speaker. I think those three answers comprehend the conclusion of our panel today, this morning. So please give applause to these three speakers, and thank you very much for your attention.
And to all of the speakers and the mediator to remain on stage to receive a token of appreciation for today's panel discussion.
And for that, we invite member of Advisory Board of IAI, Bapak Sabto Amal Damandari. Kami mohon kesediaannya untuk naik ke atas panggung to come up to the stage to give the token of appreciation to all the speaker and moderator.